I'm Shalom and today we shall study about adjectives. What are adjectives? Adjective is a word used to describe or point out or specify a number of person, animal, place or things to a specified noun. Adjective also incorporates additional meaning to a noun to describe an object. Depending on the type of adjective, it can be classified into different categories. Now let us see the different categories. First, let us see what is an adjective. An adjective describes, but what does it describe? Yes, it describes a noun and a pronoun. So let us see the different types of adjectives. First, we will see that adjective can normally go in two places in a sentence. Before a noun, for example, she is a tall girl. Or after the verb be, that is, am, are, was, were. For example, the sky is blue. So blue is an adjective. Or we can use when we feel, smell, taste, look, seem, etc. Now let us see how we divide the adjectives into the following categories. Now let us see the first adjective of quality. Adjective of quality describes, shows the kind or quality of a person or thing. For example, Mumbai is a large city. Large shows how Mumbai is, how the city is, what kind of city it is. So what kind of city it is? Yes, it is a large city. We can also say big city. Now let's go to the next example. Sachin is a good batsman. What kind of batsman is Sachin? Yes, he is a good. So good becomes an adjective. Adjectives of quality answers the question of what kind. We learned about good. The opposite of that will be bad. It tells us what type of person you are. When we said about Mumbai is a large city, instead of large, we could also write big city. Instead of big city, we could say it is also a small city. So big, small, large, good, all these are adjectives of quality. So adjectives of quality describing the quality of a noun when the adjective answers the question of what kind or type or how. Now let us go to the next adjectives. Now let us see descriptive adjectives. What are descriptive adjectives? They are same as qualitative adjectives. Now in qualitative adjectives, when I said Amitabh Bachchan is very tall, opposite of tall is short. But when we are talking about the length of something, we write long. The opposite of long is short. Tall we talk about height. Long we talk about length. Other examples are opposite of good is bad. Opposite of big or large is small. Opposite of tall is short. Opposite of long is short. Now as I told you, descriptive adjectives are called qualitative adjectives. Now let us see what are descriptive adjectives. They show the kind or quality of a person or thing. This is the order of adjectives. You have to remember dosa, com, q, f, t, t square. So let us see determiners. Determiner, for instance, my and your. Now we make sentences like my new tennis racket. So my becomes a determiner. It is a descriptive adjective. Your, for example, your fabulous new car. Your becomes a descriptive adjective. Let's see the next one. O. What does O signify? It signifies opinion. Opinion means is whatever we think about something. An interesting book. And a new dress. Now let's see the next one. S is for size and shape. For instance, for size is like we can say Mohan is a fat boy or Mohan is a thin boy. Shape we can say rectangular, circle, square. Now let's go to the next one. Age. A is for age. He is an old man or that is a new book. So old and new, all these come under ages. C signifies color. He has a black dog. So C signifies color, that is black. O signifies origin. For instance, we say Indian government or Chinese government. M for material. For example, wood, copper, silk. These are all materials. Q is quality. So one is a good boy. Good, bad, all qualities of a person. F is for feelings. He was a happy person. So happy, sad, all these are all feelings. T is for time, yearly, monthly, and the second T is for touch, that's slippery and sticky. So these are all the descriptive adjectives which I have reduced to dosa, com, q, ft square. D for determiner, for example, my, your. O for opinion, pretty, expensive. S for size or shape, size like fat or thin, or shape like circular, rectangle, square. A for age, old and new. C for color, that for instance black and red. O for origin, like Indian, Chinese. M for material, that is I have given wood. Q is for quality, that is good or a bad quality of person. F feelings, that is happy, sad. T for time, for example yearly, monthly, and T for touch as slippery, sticky. So this is all about descriptive adjective, which is the same as name for qualitative adjectives. Now let us go to the next type of adjectives, that is the proper adjectives. Adjectives formed from proper nouns, for example, Indian tea, Chinese government, are sometimes called proper adjectives. They are generally classed with adjectives of quality. It always begins with a capital letter. So always remember that proper adjectives, for example, Indian, Chinese, Bengal, English, all start with a capital letter and they are derived from proper nouns. Now let us go to the next type of adjectives. We go to the next type of adjectives, that is the adjective of quantity. These adjectives are used with uncountable nouns like some, any, enough, all. In adjectives of quantity, these show how a thing is meant. For example, I want some food, so some becomes an adjective of quantity. He lost all his wealth, so all becomes an adjective of quantity. Some shows a little bit, all means you lost everything. Sufficient is same meaning as enough. Other examples are he lost all his teeth. So all becomes an adjective of quantity. Or we can say he lost one tooth. When we say one or two, we say it as a definite quantity. But when we say some or many, it shows you in general. It does not tell you the exact. For example, I say I have some friends. So some becomes an adjective of quantity. Some is used for countable as well as non-countable. Always remember that many and few is always countable. Countable means which you can count. Other examples are some shows a little bit. All means everything. No means not even one. Sufficient means enough. Half means adha. Other examples are much, every, many, several, most, each. A few means very less. It tells the quantity of things named by the noun. Much, little, enough are all adjectives of quantity. So we see adjectives of quantity means that they are not actually being counted. They are used for uncountable nouns. We always answer the question with how much. For example, some, all, enough. This is all about adjectives of quantity. Now let us see the third type of adjective, that is attributive adjective. Look at this sentence. The red book is on the table. The adjective red is used along with the noun book, has an affective or an attribute. It is therefore said to be used as an attributive adjective. Red comes before the noun book, so it is called an attributive adjective. Let us look at the next sentence. The book is red, which comes under predictive adjective. Red is used along with the verb is, which forms a part of the predicate. It is therefore said to be used as a predictive. It comes after the noun. I hope it is clear that attributive adjective is an adjective which precedes, means before, comes before a noun. For example, the red book is on the table. So red is comes before the noun book. It precedes a noun. And we see in predictive adjective that an adjective follows a noun. That the book is red. It follows a noun book. So red is in predictive adjective. Now let us go to the next type of adjective, that is adjective of number. Adjective of number are also called numeral adjectives. They show how many person or things are meant, in what order a person or thing stands. For example, most boys like cricket, or we can say the hand has 5 fingers. So most and five are all adjectives of number. Adjectives of number answers the question how many. These adjectives are used with countable nouns. Now let us see what is the difference between how much and how many. When we use the question how much as compared to when we ask how many. How much is generally asked for non-countable. How many will be used for countable. Countable nouns are those nouns which we can count like 1, 2, 3, 4. The countable or non-countable all come before the noun. They tell us about the noun. For example, if I say, how many friends do you have? I have 5 friends. I can count them like I have 5. So 5 becomes an adjective number. How much milk do you drink? I drink a lot of milk. So lot becomes an adjective number. We don't say 1 milk, 2 milk, 3 milk. I say I drink less milk. I drink more milk. So when we talk about non-countable things, we use the question how much. For countable in case we use how many. Adjectives of number are also called numeral adjectives. Now we see that adjectives of number are of 3 kinds, that is the definite numeral adjectives, indefinite numeral adjectives and distributive adjectives. In short it is did. So let's see, for D it is definite numeral adjective. What is definite numeral adjective? Definite numeral adjective, which denotes an exact number, has 1, 2, 3. These are all called cardinals. And when we say first, second, third, these are all ordinals. So they show an exact number. So they are called as a definite numeral adjective. For example, I say I have 3 friends. It tells you how many exactly. Which boy came in the first in the class, who came second, who came 10, exactly tells the order. So it is called as the ordinal. A cardinal denotes how many. An ordinal, the order of thing in series. It will be seen that ordinal do the work of demonstrative adjectives. So we see that definite numeral adjectives have exact number. We ask the question how many. Cardinals like 1, 3, 99. Ordinals like first, second, 99th. So let us see the indefinite numeral adjectives like all, no, some, few, many, certain, several do not denote an exact number. For example, if I say I have invited many people but only a few came. So many and few are indefinite numeral adjectives. Exactly how many came we do not know. It is not definite how many exactly. So we say that indefinite numeral adjectives do not give an exact number. For example, few, many, much, some, certain, several. It is same as adjectives of quantity which I taught earlier. Depends on the noun that they describe. Now let us go to distributive adjectives. Distributive numeral adjectives will refer to each one of a number. For example, if I say either pen will do, each boy, every student of my class is a naughty one. For example, each and every. Now every is a stronger word, each without an exception. Every we say to a total group or a number which is indefinite. It speaks more than 2, whereas each speaks about 2 or more things. It gives attention to one individual and the number is definite. We have other examples like neither, either. Like for example, if I say which pen do you want? You want a black pen or you want a red pen? You say I don't mind anyone. Either of them will do. So you can say I want neither pens. So these are all our adjectives of number. Adjectives or distributive adjective means refers to each element of a number or person or objects. For example, each, every, either or neither. So these are all adjectives of number. Now let us go to the next type of adjective, that is adjective of comparison. The adjectives change in form. For example, sweet, sweeter, sweetest, to show the comparison. They are called the degrees of comparison. Now we have 3 degrees, that is the positive, comparative, and the superlative. These are the three degrees of comparison in adjectives. The positive degree of adjective is an adjective in its simple forms. It is used when no comparison is made. It is used for two things or people that are similar. We use as dash as with an positive degree. For example, we say he is as brave as a lion. Now we see the comparative degree. What is the comparative degree? The comparative degree of an adjective denotes when two or a set of things compared, or two things or people that are different. We use than with the comparative adjective, not as dash as with the positive degree. Meena is taller than Radha. So taller than is a comparative adjective. Radha is not as tall as Meena. In a negative sentence, we use so dash as in place of as dash as. For example, Radha is not so tall as Meena. Now let us go to the third kind of degree, that is the superlative degree. The superlative degree of an adjective denotes more than two things or set of things are compared. The superlative with more sometimes used when there is no idea of comparison. For three or more things or people that we use different, we use the superlative degree with the positive degree with no other, and the comparative degree with no other or any other. For example, if I say Anita is the tallest girl in the class, no other girl is as tall as she is, or we can say no other girl in the class is taller than her, or we can say Anita is taller than any other girl in the class. How we form the comparative and superlative degree, we will see in our upcoming videos. Remember that we use the before the superlative degree and then after the comparative degree. So we see that in positive degree, is the first level of comparison, compares between two persons or things which are equal in some way. We have this formula as plus adjective plus and, which you have to remember. Then if it's negative, then use not as plus adjective plus as. And I've given an example, she is as good as me. Now we see comparative degree, that it is the second level of comparison. It compares between two things or persons which are different from each other. I have given a formula, that is more plus adjective plus than. Adjective plus er plus than. If it is less positive, then use plus adjective then. For example, I have written here, Deepika is taller than Priyanka, or she is more beautiful than me. Now we see in superlative degree that it is the third level of comparison. It compares between two objects or persons. I have given the formula adjective plus est of all, and another one is one of the plus adjective plus est, and the third one is one of the most adjective, and the fourth one is the most adjective of all. For example, Deepika is the tallest of all. So you have to remember all these formulas to get your positive, comparative and superlative degree. This is all about the adjectives of comparison, which are adjectives used to compare nouns of the same category. Now let us go to the next type of adjectives, that is the demonstrative adjective. These point out which person or thing is meant. They answer the questions which. It should be noticed that this and that are used with singular nouns, and these and those with plural nouns. For example, the book is mine. Another example, these children are naughty. That book is yours. Those shirts are mine. So these, that, those, all these are demonstrative adjectives. We answer the question which book, this book, that book. Here we can point them out. Now please note that there is a difference between this and that. This is the one who is here and is used for only one. That will always show you something is far away. These and those are used for many. Whenever we ask which one, we answer this one. For example, I say, I like this book. I don't like that book. If you go and say, if you go to a shop and say, I like all these dresses and I did like those dresses. So these and those all these are demonstrative adjectives. So we see the demonstrative adjectives are used to point or indicate the noun that is being discussed. We ask a question which, and they point out to something. This and that are used as singular nouns, and these and those are plural nouns. This is all about demonstrative adjectives. Now let us go to the next type of adjectives, that is the participle adjectives. These are of two types of participle adjectives. Participle adjective is related to ed, is used to say how people feel, and present participle are used to describe the people or things that cause the feeling. Suppose, for example, if I say I'm watching a movie, I'm talking about the movie. How is the movie? So the movie is boring, and seeing the movie I am bored. So it becomes past participle. Or you can say Max is interested in the lesson, and Max, this lesson is interesting. So, what is the definition of participle? Participle means a word formed from a verb. Example, going, gone. And it is a word formed from a verb and it is used as an adjective. For example, working woman, burnt house. So, this is all about participle adjectives which has two ed and ing. Ed describes how people feel, for example, bored. And ing describes things and situation, for example, boring. So this is all about participle adjective. Now let us go to the next type of adjective, that articles. You'll be surprised to know that articles, yes, articles are also come under adjective. The articles like a and the are special subcategory of the demonstrative adjectives. Now let us go to the next type of adjectives, that is the interrogative adjectives. What, which, whose, when, they are called with nouns to answer the question. They are called interrogative adjectives. What is used in a general sense, which is used in a selective sense. Looking at the question mark, we can say they are asking a question, and we ask a question. You can see the question word just comes before the noun. After what we are getting a noun decision, after which we are getting a noun book. These all come before nouns, but they ask a question. These questions are called WH question words because you can see they start with WH. The adjectives which we ask questions are known as interrogative adjectives. So we see that interrogative adjectives are when words like what, which, whose placed before a noun to raise a query or form questions. For example, whose book is this? Which book belongs to you? What decision will you take? This is all about interrogative adjectives like who, which and what. Now let us see the next type of adjective, the emphatic or the emphasizing adjective. Adjectives like own and very are used to put greater emphasis on the noun. For example, I saw it with my own eyes. Own becomes an emphasizing adjective or an emphatic adjective. This is the very solution we want. Very becomes an emphasizing adjective. So this is all about emphasizing adjective, which is not very common. Now let us go to the next type of adjective, that is exclamatory adjective. What and how words are used. For example, if I say what a beautiful flower it is, how beautiful the rainbow is. Sometimes what is used as an adjective to raise an exclamation. For example, what a genius. What an idea. What an idea we have seen in Abhishek Bachchan in his new ad, idea. So you can remember exclamatory mark is always used with an exclamatory adjective. This adjective is not very common. Now let us go to the next type of adjectives. Possessive adjectives always tells us who possesses something, who owns something. If I say, for example, whose book is this? This is my book. So my is a possessive adjective. So it tells us whose it is. Please note, in possessive adjectives we have my, your, his, her, our, their. It all answers the question whose. In both genders, that is masculine and feminine, we say my father, mother, my children. For example, my, if I say I have lost my book, my, some, which we say something belongs to me. You and your are the same. You have not done your homework. his. For example, Suresh respects his father, or Suresh respects his mother, or we can say Suresh respects his parents. For her, for example, we can say Lata respects her sister. Our, for example, we say we love our country, so our becomes a possessive adjective. In their, for example, we say they have shifted into their new house. Always remember, we don't have a separate word in English for you. You and yours are the same. So we see that a possessive adjective, for example, my, your, our, their, his, her, its, who. We ask a question, whose. And possessive adjective means which we possess, an authorship. These are all the types of adjectives. Now let us see how to position the adjectives. Now look here, the location of the adjective in a sentence is important. Generally it is used just before or just after the noun. We say pretty girl, strong boy. So pretty and strong come before the noun girl and boy. This is the most common way to position adjectives. Second point, some adjectives change the meaning of the sentence. For example, if I say a great leader's son, a leader's great son. So great, you change the meaning of the sentence. The third point, when multiple adjectives like 2 or 3 adjectives are used to describe a noun, they are sometimes placed after the noun. For example, if I say the prince, tall and handsome, walked down the road. Or if I say the tall and handsome prince walked down the road. These all 2 or 3 adjectives are used to describe a noun that are sometimes placed after the noun. The fourth point is the adjective is placed after the noun when there are other words or phrases that are used only with that adjective to describe the noun. For example, if I say a soldier stronger than his comrades carried the injured. Many adjectives are made in typical attributes. For example, if I say adjectives which change into noun like boy becomes boyish, gold becomes golden, hope becomes hopeful. Now we see verbs and adjectives are changed from verb to an adjective, like for example talk becomes talkative, move becomes movable, bear, and we changes to birth. The woman had a birth, her childbirth. Now we see the other adjectives. Other adjectives become to adjectives like black becomes blackish, sick becomes sickly, track becomes tragical. So always remember that adjectives means added to. Though these are all about adjectives, you will be surprised that you have also learned determiners. Determiners are used to determine or limit the noun. We have various 4 determiners. You can see here in a crosswise. We have the quantity of adjective, demonstrative adjective, then articles, possessive adjectives. These are all determiners and determine the or limit the noun. Thank you.